Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by the Cochran Firm and Boston Scientific, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! It's time to turn the page to these Philadelphia Eagles. And if Dallas wants to get to where they want to be in the postseason, they're going to need that defense to bounce back and be about that action, boss. Got to be about that action, boss. We are going to take a look at that defensive side of the ball. Quick preview of the Eagles offense. We know about the Eagles offense, though, but we'll still quickly preview that. But we got to talk about that defense, man. We'll listen to Dan Quinn. We'll listen to Kearse. And in the roundup, T.Y. said he's ready, and I think there's a little bit of gamesmanship over there in Philly. But first, I don't know. I just wanted to hear this music, to be honest with you. You're probably like, well, who is that behind you, Sky? That's the corporate rock. I keep bringing this up because I feel like it's needed to be said. I listened to J-Ron's interview. Get that off my chest. And I got corporate rock heel vibes from him. And I love it. Because I'm tired of playing the nice guy. And I think the Cowboys need to start leaning into their villainous. Leaning into their heelness. As you guys like to say, heel Sky. The Cowboys need to be leaning into that, man. This is the perfect moment, opportunity for the Cowboys defense to do just that. You're not going to get another better offense. I don't care if Jalen Hurts is out. And we'll talk about that here in a second. I don't care. They still have a fantastic scheme, fantastic offensive line, skilled players galore. It ain't going to be easy if he ain't in there. So this is the game where I think the Cowboys defense needs to put a stamp on it and say, hey, we are this team. And I'm saying it's a collective team game. I understand that. But coming into this season, we knew the Dallas Cowboys needed to lean on this defense. Well, put a pin in that because we're going to have a conversation about that in a little bit. But I need this team to start leaning into being a heel, man. I do. Especially after a loss like that. Everybody should be pissed off. And I know people in the chat going to say, well, we're always pissed off. Sure. We always get gut checked, or we always get, hey, we needed that game and this was good for us. I hear you. But now we need to be a heel. Okay? I need to lean into it. Instead of corporate Cowboys, be the goddamn corporate rock, Cowboys Nation. Now, shout out to you, Bomb Squad, for being here. Appreciate y'all.
Bomb Squad!
Appreciate y'all. If y'all want to call into the show later, you can. 351-999-3787. Y'all calling me Toxic Sky. No, I'm not toxic. Toxic. I like heel Sky better than Toxic Sky. I'd rather go with that, man. All right, let's get into this, Cowboys Nation. Let's do it.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It's time.
It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Hey, yo. What they doing over there in Philly, man? J-Ron said, I don't care who the quarterback is. I feel you, J-Ron. I do. But if it's Hurts and if it ain't Hurts, I think that makes a bit of a difference. It's a little bit difference here. And Nick Sirianni is not ruling out Jalen Hurts. This is the quotes here, and I'll give my thoughts. Sirianni said, I do not put it past Jalen Hurts. I don't put anything past Jalen Hurts as far as his physical and mental toughness. There's a chance he can play this week. Yeah, okay. Then he talked about Gardner Minshew. He said, if he has to go, we have 100% confidence in him because he can ball. He proved that last year. I think he's proved that throughout his career. He's a winner. That's all he knows how to do. I said this on Vach's show yesterday. I don't think Hurts is going to play, and it's very possible he might miss a few weeks. But if they, for whatever reason, want to run him out there with a AC sprain in his throwing shoulder, with a quarterback who gets like what, y'all, 10 to 15 carries a game? Okay. Go ahead, man. And I'm not saying this defense has been playing like it was playing in the first half of the game of the season, but at the end of the day, we still do got some crazed dogs out there. All right, J-Ron will hit you. Dono will hit you. Sam Williams will body slam you after the whistle. Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons. I'm just saying, I don't think it'd be wise for them to go out there, throw their MVP candidate who runs this offense to, I don't want to say perfection, but this is his offense. Let's just be completely honest here. All right, run him out there. But I don't think it will be that. I think it'll be Gardner Minshew. And even with Gardner Minshew, there's things the Cowboys are going to have to clean up defensively to come out here and bounce back, right? Bounce back and be that heel that I talk about. I think it starts on Saturday. I thought it was supposed to start last week. You lost to the Jaguars. It was a terrible game defensively. Now, when you get into these playoffs, you're going to be playing these type of run teams, East-West teams. Maybe you'll see Philly again. Maybe you'll see the Niners, right? Maybe you'll see Minnesota. We tend to be able to beat Minnesota. So, hey, if we see Minnesota, we just happen to see Minnesota. But you're going to have to go through a quality opponent, man. So I need the defense to get back right. Let's get over to the practice report, where we saw Micah Parsons did not practice with the illness. So the illness, I guess, is back in the locker room. I don't know what's going around over there. But the rest of the practice report continues to look the same. Jake Ferguson came back. He was limited. That means he'll likely play unless something happens with the concussion protocol. But he should be on track to play. And if we remember, that Jake Ferguson game against the Eagles was kind of his coming out party. Had that nice little wiggle touchdown, another big catch in the third quarter when the Cowboys came out and stormed back and start doing more Cowboy things. Dorrance Armstrong, limited. And then, of course, Leighton Vander Esch did not practice with the neck. We'll have more on that once we dive into this defense here. But that's where we're at with the practice report. More of a walkthrough. Tuesday, they usually don't practice, but because they play Saturday, they had to practice. And then finally, they talked to T.Y. Hilton after practice again. T.Y. seems very eager here to play. And I don't blame him, man. Here's a couple quotes from T.Y. He says, right now, I feel good. I got the offense down pat. I've been studying for 10 hours a day, so I got that down. I feel good. You have to respect me. When they asked T.Y. about teams respecting him and taking him, being an account for him, he said, you have to account for me. I can still run. So if you think you're just going to come up there and play press to man and not get ran by, then you're crazy. It's me being next to you and then I'm gone. Oh, I love that. I'm not going to hold you. I love to hear that from T.Y. Hilton. This is a veteran that is very sure of himself. This is a veteran that even last year when, okay, look, I understand it wasn't the greatest year for T.Y. Hilton, but T.Y. Hilton showed that he could still do some things out there, especially running deep. And I know it sounds funny, but this 33-year-old is probably your fastest playing speed receiver. So at the very least, it gives you a different aspect on the outside, inside, wherever they decide to line him up. My only, if you want to use the word worry or whatever you want to call it, concern is will this coordinator actually get him involved? Will this coordinator use his skill sets correctly, or will he say, hey, this is what we do, T.Y. You fit into here? And I understand that's kind of normal. Like, you got to fit into a system. But if you have a player with a special skill set, I do think you need to lean towards that skill set from time to time. So, do we start to finally see those over routes? Do we start to finally see deep posts? Do we start to finally see them attack, on the 9 routes? Because there's really nobody that they've trusted to do that this year. Yeah, Michael Gallup can run down and jump and get the ball, but he's not running past people. Yeah, Noah Brown can run down and jump and get the ball and be physical at contact, but he's not running past people. They just don't use CeeDee Lamb in that manner unless he's running down the seam, and you never get a chance to do that down the seam. So do they use T.Y.'s ability to get deep, and do they use T.Y.'s ability underneath as well? Because he's smart. He's been around the league. He's seen defenses. So I'd imagine T.Y. could do some things both intermediate and deep, in my opinion. So I think this will be up to, and the coach talked about it yesterday, Kellen Moore, a couple days ago. He's excited and yada, 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 yada. I've heard this before, Cowboy. I've heard him say he's excited about XYZ of player, and then we don't utilize said player. So show me, Kellen. Show me that you are going to use T.Y. Hilton in this offense, because he has the chance to be an ultimate wild card for this offense. I'm not saying a savior, just an added aspect to the offense that the Cowboys have not been able to use, reach, whatever this year, and still been productive offense, like a really productive offense. So just imagine if he can add a little bit more to it. Now we're talking, right? But at the end of the day, we had this conversation yesterday. It's time to move on to the defense. But at the end of the day, all the numbers are pretty and everything, but it comes down to common sense in adverse situations. Comes down to common sense. All right. No. Oscar said, if Kellen and Dak hasn't gotten James Washington and Michael Gallup going, what makes you think they'll get T.Y. going? That's the question. That is the fair and honest question. Now, in regards to those two dudes, Michael Gallup is just be honest, flat out. Michael Gallup has just not been that Michael Gallup, y'all. Which we try to caution about coming back from that knee injury. Now, I thought maybe at this point in time he'd be a little bit further ahead, but maybe this is what it is with an injury. James Washington I told y'all about James Washington. You throw James Washington into this offense after no practice, no nothing, and he's not better than T.Y. Hilton. Whatever you get, whether it's a block, whether it's a snap, whatever, for James Washington is icing on the cake. So to me, he's kind of a non-factor. T.Y. is different. T.Y. is not coming off an injury. T.Y. is better than both Michael Gallup and James Washington when healthy, right? Put everything into factor. Everybody's healthy. I think T.Y. Hilton's the best receiver there. And he has a different skill set than those two, Oscar. So that is the kind of saving grace with T.Y. Hilton. He is better than those dudes. He's not injured. And he brings something different to the table. So there's really no excuse not to get him involved, because he can provide something you don't have right now. Just flat out. I don't know if T.Y. is going to help us, Joe. I'm talking about getting him involved in his skill set that he has. And to say that he hasn't played since last year, I mean, a lot of players haven't played since last year. And Ndamukong Suh just went out there and involved Joseph for the other team, and they're being very productive for their squads. I mean, you don't. This is a guy that's a veteran. I'm not saying that he's going to come out here and have 100 yards on Saturday. No. The idea is to get T.Y. involved these last 3 games, so when the playoffs come, now T.Y. Hilton is integrated and you can use him at his capacity, right? You can use him at max value for what he is and what he can bring to you 15 weeks into the season. But I'm not talking about T.Y. going out Saturday and having a fantastic game, right? But you do need to get him acclimated, ramp him up, per se. Let's get on the horn real quick, though. We do got James on the horn. I'm going to get to you in a second, man. Pulse of the Nation hotlines presented by the Cochran Firm. Since 2005, Brian and Larry have protecting and fighting for you, DFW area. Anytime you need any legal advice or run into any legal problems, it's easy. Pick up the phone, give them a call, 1-800-THE-FIRM. They'll help you out, man. And here's the beautiful part of it. They do not charge if they do not win. So contact them for your free consultation today at CochranTexas.com. James, what's good, man?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, brother. How are you?
Yeah. Hey, well, I did some research, and I wanted to come back on here and also, before I get to my point, tell you, as far as Monday when I called, you were right. I was incorrect. I am not afraid to say I was wrong. So
On what?
had some wrong information. On that one play where I thought, it would have took more time off the clock or whatever, and they had a timeout, and I said they didn't. So I'm just letting you know my information was incorrect. I'm not afraid to do that.
Oh no, we squared that away on Monday. That was an easy one, man. All good.
Okay, well I wasn't sure. That's just me. That's just how I kind of am. But anyway, I'm just thanking God though that I'm calling from California, not from Montana. Man, my cousin just said it's 55 below zero with the wind. I was like, oh my goodness. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's cold. But so I guess my two questions is I'll ask them and then you can answer them or whatever. But
okay.
And then a point. I hope. Correct me if I'm wrong. I hope Kellen doesn't come out of the gate. We're using T.Y. Hilton. We use him a whole, say, 5 plays, and then he just all of a sudden, well, I think put that on the shelf and we'll go grab something else. And I know he does that, so I hope he doesn't do that. But my question is this. Now that I've heard rumoredly that Jalen is possibly not playing because he's sprained something in the shoulder, and I guess Minshew's going to start, do you think we should do more to try to throw him off of his pedestal, so to speak, or defensively, do you think we should not apply any pressure or what have you?
Minshew is a spirited quarterback. So I don't think. I think in a way you are going to change up what you do a little bit, right? Like you don't. So it's not going to be 11 on 11 anymore. It's going to be 10 on 11, so that obviously favors you. I've said this for a long time. Okay. You got a quarterback like Hurts in the Fields of the world. They make you play 11 on 11 football, and you have to deal with that. I think now when you're getting into these misdirections or these RPOs or what have you, or read options, I should say, it's mostly just one option. They're going to run it. So, I think that helps you. So I think you switch up in the sense of, all right, I'm not really worried about Minshew taking off and running on me, although he's not an immobile quarterback, but he's not a running quarterback.
I think he's kind of sneaky fast. He's not blazing fast.
Well, he's not
sneaky.
Well, not necessarily his speed, because Driscoll's not fast. But when I say fast, I mean like 4.44. But the thing is, he's not a runner. So unless they use him as a runner, you're now back to playing 10 on 11 football against the Eagles. And so now it's like, okay, I don't got to account for. Go ahead.
If you're kind of not expecting it, it kind of seems a little faster than it is if you're not expecting it.
Sure. I mean, there's difference than not expecting it and running your quarterback 12 times. Like that's what the Eagles usually try to do, right? They're trying to run their quarterback anywhere between like 8 to 12 times a game. You're not doing that with Gardner Minshew. So that's the difference there. But so then it comes, okay, what do they do next? Well, they still are going to pull their linemen, right? They're still going to get misdirection. They're still going to hit screens. You're still going to have to tackle with the line of scrimmage. You're still going to have to do all the other things that involve, the challenges with this Eagles defense. You just don't have an MVP candidate at quarterback right now. That's all.
Yeah, and then
sounds crazy. That's all, right? That's all.
And then my second question is, if knowing that you and Voch watch film and what have you, I haven't really seen his take on this, but what if any defensive weakness, what do you think we have that we could probably use to exploit their defense if they have any weakness?
Well, that'll be tomorrow. We'll talk about the defense tomorrow. But I mean, if I'm
okay, then I can wait for that one.
Yeah, if I'm being completely, I'll just give you a generic answer. If I'm being completely honest and unbiased, and I hate them, they are just an extremely well-rounded team that's really hard to poke holes through. Defensively, they have a ridiculous pass rush. Interior, I mean, I don't know that you're going to face a more deep interior than this team, and it worries me because we struggle in the middle with certain guys. Javon Hargrave probably should be an All-Pro this year. Their linebackers, they don't have the names, but I think they got the athletes and the speed. I don't know if Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is going to play. He was their pick machine back there, but the kid filling in, maybe that's your mouse in the house, but you got to get to that point. Bradbury could be a mouse and owls, but he's had a good year due to that pass rush, and we know about
Sure.
Maddox might be bad. I mean, it's a well-rounded machine in regards to defensively, bro. It's going to take.
I will give you that one for sure. I just hope what doesn't happen is Kellen finds a weakness and then starts going after it, and then like he usually does, and then goes, I guess we'll just go and we'll try this. Like when you're gonna do something and you go, I wonder what this button does. I hope he doesn't do that.
I hope he just sticks to what works for them, man, and make Philly have to stop it. I don't want them to go out there and play around like, all right, let's see how Philly's going to play us. Matt, nah, bro. Play your brand of football, see how they match to it, because I think they tried that in round 1. They came out and tried to, we're going to trick them with Cooper Rush. And you put Cooper Rush in these bad situations. He's not that good of a quarterback, and you put him up against that defense. And then what happened in the second half when they said, all right, we try to trick him. Let's just come out here and do what we do. Play action, boot, easy pitch and catch. Run, misdirection, pulling the guards. We just put up 17 points.
Exactly. I just think at the end of the day, though, Sky, I think maybe you'll agree with me on this. I think at the end of the day, we just got to go out there real super physical, and we got to take what they give. If they give you 7 or 8 yards per play, take it. But don't try to be, over aggressive and then put yourself in a hole, because we've already seen when we're behind the sticks that we usually are not one of those kind of teams. So we just kind of got to stay in front of everything and take what they give us and score when we can and just shut them down if we can do that.
Offensively,
and I think we'll be okay.
You're going to have to be clean.
Yes, sir.
It's got to be a clean
one of those
game.
games like against Minnesota. It's going to have to be clean like that.
Yeah, it's got to be clean, man.
But that's all I got, man. Hey, it was good to hear from you. Like I said, you and Vach, man, I only trust you two when it comes for Cowboy information.
I appreciate it. It's a lot of us out there, though, brother, but I appreciate that, James.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, sir.
But you two are my favorites, though.
Thank you, sir.
All right, take care.
Heavy. Appreciate that, James. Yeah, man. We'll talk about the offense tomorrow, but a question I want to pose to you guys, because we're a lot of offensive talk right now. I'm supposed to be talking about defense. Coming into the season, maybe this is rhetorical, but I just want to confirm my priors. We came into the season, we realized, okay, this team is going to have to do 2 things, right? Lean on the ground. And when I mean lean on the ground, I don't even got to run it 45 times a game, but they have to be a run action type of team, because we just weren't comfortable with what was happening out wide. I don't think we're still that comfortable, but that's just me. And defensively, we'd have to be a defensive-led team. Right? Like that, I think everybody pretty much agreed upon that. Like our defense, and the Cowboys came out that way. But here's the question I pose to you now. Given what's in front of you now, has the script flipped for the Cowboys? Meaning, is this now an offensive-driven team again? Or is this still defense? So you let me know, offense, defense in the chat. Because when that question was posed last week, I paused, I thought, said defense. Then 34 points happened on Sunday. More injuries happened. Dug a little deeper. And I'm just not sure anymore. So is this an offense or defensive driven team? Not that this like when I say not that it matters, I'm just curious to see what the Cowboys Nation thinks. This offense or defense driven team? Defense, offense. Okay, so seems to be split. And I want to make sure I'm clear on this. Not what it should be. Not what will get us wins, or just what you're watching over the last half of the season. Does it feel offense or defensive driven? Still defense. The first 7 games of the season, the Cowboys allowed 14.8 points per game. I wouldn't even question you saying it's defense. I was number 1 in the league. The last 7 games of the season, they're allowing 22.5 points per game. And that includes allowing only 3 points against the Minnesota Vikings. And I understand they had that drive at the Giants and whatnot. Yeah, that's another one too. That would rank 17th in the league. But Sky, some context there. Sure, you probably knock some points down and I'll put you around 12. So not bad, right? But from 1 to 12 is still a bit of a drop. And then you're dealing with this. This is why the question I pose it, because at some damn point, these things may catch up to you. And I think we might have seen it happen immediately against the Jaguars. So the Cowboys, in my opinion, are down 4 starters. Now, we can laugh and he and kiki at a couple of these starters here, but it is what it is. Jonathan Hankins. I don't think it's a coincidence. Jonathan Hankins is here. 4 of the 5 games or whatever, your run defense is pretty damn good. Jonathan Hankins goes out. The very first time they run for like $190 or whatever it was. Now, a couple in the rounds, I get it. Anthony Brown. We all don't like Anthony Brown. I get it. When I say we, I mean, I'm saying collective, right? Cowboys Nation, it is what it is with Anthony Brown. He's been struggling this year. But he goes out, nobody replaces him adequately. Jordan Lewis. Here's why I can't just scoff over J-Lo. Because if J-Lo was here, I think Deron Bland would be playing cornerback too. Now that J-Lo is out, Deron Bland plays slot corner, and he's doing a fantastic job, but that leaves you weak at cornerback too. And then you have LVE, who y'all know me. I'm not here to confirm priors with him, with anybody. I tell you straight up, if a player's playing like trash or not playing good or is not doing something that I'm seeing on tape that I can call out, or doing something on tape I can call out, I'll call it out. I can't do that with LVE over the last few weeks. Now Sunday didn't play enough. There wasn't enough tape for me to really go hard at. But against the Texans, I thought, oh, snap, if we get that LVE, dead ass. So, respect. Now, LVE still wasn't a guy that I wanted to bench because you didn't have enough depth there to do that. But LVE's out now. How many games? Who knows? So I think you start looking at the injuries piling up. You start looking at the young guys on the outside in regards to the secondary. We'll see the impact that LVE has moving forward. We saw the impact not having Jonathan Hankins. I think I got to say it's offensive-driven team now. I know Micah Parsons, D-Law, Trey Diggs, J-Ron, Donald. I get it, bro. I understand. But I need them to show me this week, man. I need them to show me that they can tap into that first part of the year mentality where it felt like no matter what. I mean, we've seen turnovers happen. We've seen short fields, and they're like, nope, field goal. Nope, no touchdown. They went on a streak where they weren't giving up more than 1 touchdown. Now we're giving up multiple touchdowns in a quarter. So I'm not going to lie to you. I ain't going to fake the funk. Confidence has been dinged a little bit here defensively. And the reason why, listen, I get it. We got, I like our offense, but I don't trust this team to be an offensive driven team in the playoffs. I can't have that. Like, I need this defense to be him. Right? Know what they say? I need this defense to be him in the playoffs because I've seen this franchise for 20 years. Us Romo and Dak era have explosive offenses, top offenses get into the playoffs, and the game gets shrunk down. The game comes down to coaching, and do I trust that coach over there against maybe somebody else better? No, I don't. So, I need the defense to kind of gain that confidence back for me, man. It took a little hit there. That was tough. And J-Ron actually talked about that a little bit. And here's what I love about J-Ron Kearse, man. He leans into the damn Hill situation. Okay? He leans into the Hill situation. He is tired of the talk. And I'm with him. It was Joy Epstein who asked a question about, hey, man, you're going to go talk, you're the leader, and yada, yada, yada. And, this is what J-Ron had to say here. It wasn't an exciting interview, but you could tell J-Ron fed up. But take a listen.
You mentioned whether someone's giving everything and say individuals can answer for that, but as one of the leaders of the defense, what kind of conversations do you have with your teammates, and at what point do you say, hey, we need to talk about this, guys, so we all know we're giving 100%?
We've talked a lot. You know, we've talked all off season. We've talked preseason. We've talked in season. You know, at this point, why we should not have to talk anymore. Like, we should be about business. We should be about action. Like, the film should speak. So I don't really think it's much more talking that needs to be done other than getting the job done. You know, and you know, just honestly, like, if we can't get the job done, we can't get the job done. But talking is not going to get the job done when we've constantly been talking. We've been talking since our loss to San Fran last year. So we just have to get the job done. It's just plain and simple. You know, if we don't get the job done, you know, we see the outcome. You know, our offense should not put up 34 points and we lose the game, regardless of what goes on. I'm a fan of great defenses. You know, the Bears squad back then. You know, that Baltimore squad. That Seattle squad, regardless of what went on throughout the game, that defense was the best defense on the field, and they showed it. You know, it could be an interception and you have the ball on the 5-yard line. You know, you still have to score. We don't have to allow you to score. And, you know, I've just always been a fan of that, and, you know, we haven't been up to that caliber as of late. And, you know, it shows on film. When you turn the tape on, you see it, so.
Well put, J-Ron. And he's right. As I said earlier, as many points as this offense can score, and they have been scoring a hell of a lot of points. I just don't see 40-3 type of games, 54-19 games in the playoffs. It's going to come down to, in my opinion, I know this is not fair. Maybe it's not fair to the defense, but it's going to come down to this defense getting back to what they were earlier in the season. Because we don't trust the offense, Keller. We don't trust the offense in the critical moments. Let me just say that right now. We don't trust the offense with common sense. Right? We do trust, or do we? I mean, that's a question, I suppose. Do you trust his defense? But I know Dan Quinn is under the heat, under the fire, and I will put Dan Quinn under the fire. Absolutely. Like, he's not above reproach. You know, he needs to figure things out as well. I still feel like I trust Dan Quinn to do that. I still feel like I trust this defense to, hey, man, I know it's been a rough game. Go get me a fumble. Hey, man, I know y'all gave up 34, but I need you to get me to stop in overtime. Hey, man, I get it, man. We just gave y'all, an interception, and they on a 5-yard line, but I need y'all to stop them. Watch the defense do it. Terrible games and all, right? You're letting the Driscolls, and you're letting the Lawrences, and you're letting the Etiennes and all these guys go off on you and whatnot, the Zay Joneses. But when I need a stop, I mean, they got one. Now, they need to do the inverse of the offense. The offense has been putting numbers up and doing all these great things in the middle of games and in the middle of outside of critical moments where the defense hadn't. The defense was getting a little bit beat up here and there in the middle, but then when it came down to crunch time, they make a play. We need this team to be on the same page, though. That seems to be the issue. We need this team to be on the same page. We talk about balance offensively. We need them to be balanced from a team game. And now we're starting to see, and this is different from defense, but are we starting to see a little slippage from the special teams? And what I mean by that, I mean Kevontae Turpin. You know, it was at a point in time, man, where special teams are setting you up, punt return, kick return. I think Kevontae Turpin has hurt you the last couple of weeks. And then it was compounded by terrible decisions in regards to play calls. So it may not be fair, but I need them to bounce back. before I get into DQ on how we address this LVE situation, let's get back to the horns real quick. I want to hear from Glenn. What's good, Glenn?
Hey, what's good, Sky? Good morning. Thanks for taking the call.
Yes, sir.
So I definitely agree with you that it's now an offensive-driven team, whereas before, I think at the beginning of the year, the assumption was that it was going to be a balanced team with the defense taking a step forward. I think
Right.
that's what the goal was. But yes, it's an offensive-driven team. But here's the thing: I think part of the problem is that even though we were maybe statistically ranked number one, I believe, in defense at one point, or we were close to number one, I don't know that we were ever really that good. And the reason why I say that,
Please explain to me, Glenn.
sure, I'll explain it. So the reason why I say that is because, yes, when it comes to sacks, absolutely, but that's because you had a team of pass rushers. I think our defensive line, I think it's a little flawed, and what I mean by that is it's not really built for stoutness. It's built for getting sacks.
But hold up.
And there's
But
nothing
before you,
Go ahead.
because you're picking on one. You said you didn't think the defense was that good. You mean the defense wasn't that good because of the run? It's just in the run game department, or overall, you didn't think the defense was that good even when they were, borderline dominant the first 7 games.
I think if you can't stop the run, this is just my opinion. I think if you're not great at stopping the run, I don't think you can be a great defense.
That's
I think
fair.
You can be a
But again, I
think
want to
you
go.
can
I hear you, but you said they weren't good.
Okay, no, they were. When I say I didn't think they were that good, I mean I don't think that they were ever great or borderline great. I thought that they were a good defense.
But
I
were they
didn't think that they were great.
a top 5 defense?
I think they may have been around 5 at some point.
That's so. If you were a top 5 defense, bro, you're one of the best defenses in the league.
But here's the thing, Scott. What are you basing that on? Yards?
I'm basing on you can't score on me. I don't
Guys,
I have pillars. I have pillars to defense. I can care less about yards. Yards is not one of them. Points scored,
Agreed.
third down, red zone, turnovers. The Cowboys were elite in all of those. They weren't elite in stopping the run. That is fair. But to say because they weren't elite in stopping the run that they weren't good, I think is unfair. They're not good is unfair.
Well, again, I'm not gonna go as far as to say that they were no good. I guess my overall point is that if you can't stop the run, I don't care what the statistics say. Talk to me in December. If you can't stop the run in September and October, you damn sure can't stop it in December. And what I'm telling you is that when you have a defensive line that's not built for stoutness, and you have a defensive line that sort of skews towards the pass rush, there's nothing wrong with that. But eventually, you're going to go from leaking oil to the car breaking down. I'm not saying we're there yet.
And I think that's why they went out and got Jonathan Hankins, right?
Yeah.
And when they went out and got Jonathan Hankins, the last 4 games prior to last week, they held teams under 100 yards rushing, right? So you started to see them turn the page a bit there, but it was the big plays now being made on you on the outside, so it kind of switched up on you. Big plays weren't happening prior to that on a consistent basis. Now they are.
Well, yeah, and my overall point is that, and I'm not saying Hankins is the answer, but my point is that you got to have a combination of stoutness and pass rushers, and I just felt like we had too many pass rushers. The book isn't fully written. We don't know how this is going to end. I'm just saying to you that it's disturbing when that middle consistently gets eaten up. If you can't stop that middle, I don't care what you have as far as pass rushing ability.
But what if I told
it's
you?
Never going to be necessary.
What if I told you it's the perimeter? And I'm not excusing the middle because we don't have the depth of the big horses or what have you, right? We don't have that. But the Cowboys are one of the worst teams at defending the run on the perimeter.
Yeah, I listen. I think when you can't stop the middle, you can't stop the. I think when you can't stop the middle, I don't think you can
just say
stop
this.
anything.
Just say this. When you can't stop the run,
Fair.
because teams
Fair.
are having
Fair.
more success outside, but success running without Jonathan Hankins. Put that in and may be fair about that because they weren't having success of late. But they had success Saturday or Sunday, period.
Yeah. Well. I guess I'll leave with this. This is where Kellen, and I don't want to put everything on Kellen because this is it's supposed to be defensive day, but this is what I mean when I say coaching and calling plays as if you're watching the game. You have to protect your defense. When you see your defense is leaking oil, I think there are ways that you can help your defense. That's something I'd like to see moving forward is play calling on the offensive side of the ball that protects your defense when it's leaking oil. I'll leave you with that, Scott. Thanks for taking the call. Talk to you later.
Indeed. Let's get to 832. What it is, what it do.
What's going on, man?
What up?
So, man, a couple of things, man. I kind of agree with what you said, but not really. If that makes sense. Because, number one, yes, in the beginning of the season, we were a very good defense.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was the only thing that took me back because he said we weren't really a good defense, and I don't know how you score 14 points per game and consider not good was kind of like okay.
Right. I mean, and then as far as the run, we would bend but not necessarily break in the beginning. I mean, it was slightly flawed as far as the run game, but it was more so bend and not breaking. As of late, our biggest problem really is giving up big plays.
Right.
That's our biggest thing.
That's what I'm saying. It's the inverse. It's not the run defense that's killing you last month. It's the big plays in the pass department, which is the inverse of the beginning of the year.
And it's coming from the number 2 cornerback. And I don't care who was out there, whether it was Anthony Brown, whether it's Jonathan, whether it's Joseph. That number two cornerback position really scares me right now. And it's really to the point where, I mean, we've seen this story before. I mean, it's looking like every other year where we start off strong, we have a lot of strength, we have a lot of talent, and then towards the end of the season, it's like we just can't get right. Because what's going to make me even more madder is if we go out and actually really beat and dominate Philly this weekend. Because then it makes me look at the previous week like, come on, man. We are the most Jekyll and Hyde team in the NFL.
Maybe.
We are the most. Because one game.
I think that's because you're a Cowboy fan, right? And we're looking at this team a lot tighter than other fans. When if you have the chance to go out and be 11-4 and you say they're Jekyll and Hyde, that's because we're critiquing them differently. Jekyll and Hyde are the Jaguars. Win-loss, or the Jets, 7-7, or the, you know what I'm saying? That's a up and down type of team. But because we are who we are, I get what you're saying, right? But the Cowboys, if they win the game on Philly and you're going to be upset because they're Jekyll and Hyde, why would you be upset that they beat Philly, fam?
Well, let me explain. Because it's kind of just like the Green Bay and Vikings loss. The Vikings win. So we go out and we lose to Green Bay in a game that we actually should have won. A team that we expected and absolutely should really dominate, honestly. Then we come out against, at the time, what were they? 9-1? They had only lost one game against the Vikings, and we just looked like the best team in the league. And then we come out again, and then that same week, Philly loses. So the rankings should be a whole lot closer. We should be a whole lot closer as far as moving up to number 1. Then we come out against the Texans and the Jaguars, and we struggle or we lose.
Struggle
then we go up against a good team. It happens.
They won 4 in a row prior to that game. That's why I said I get it. You're a Cowboy fan. It's the only team you're watching. It's Jekyll and Hyde how they're playing within the game. But they're 10-4, and if they win against Philly, you said you'd be upset. You'd be madder. That was your word.
It would make me more mad at the Jaguars game because we would be that much closer to taking the
You should be beyond that game if they beat Philly. But that's just me. Yeah. You're allowed to fan how you want to fan. We beat Philly, but man, F that. Because we lost to the Jags. Like, what? All right.
Because it's more telling. Because we so Jekyll and Hyde, we just don't know what we're going to get in the playoffs.
All right. You're right.
Because at this point.
You got it. So what do you want to do? You want them to lose?
No, we don't. I don't want them to lose. I'm not saying I'm mad at them winning. I'm saying I'm mad at the team that we are.
But don't you?
As far as being a Jekyll and Hyde.
My last question.
We're inconsistent.
Sure. If don't you want them to go out and have a good showing? Don't they need to have a good showing against Philly?
Oh, absolutely, we need to.
Boy,
absolutely. And the thing is, this is the thing. What I also mean by Jekyll and Hyde is with the let's just take Frisco for example. No matter what, you know what you're going to get out of Frisco. You know what you're going to get out of them.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
going to get some dogs.
That's the identity. That's the identity situation there, 100%.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. With us, you really just don't know what you're gonna get. Even with the Jaguars game, we were two different teams in two halves.
Sure.
We were two different teams in two halves. So I mean that's just a frustrating thing, man. And then it really worries you of what's gonna happen in the playoffs. What team are we gonna get? Are we gonna get the bad team for 4 quarters, or are we gonna get the good team for 3 quarters and then the bad team for 4 quarters? Like I feel like I don't necessarily feel like we have an identity.
End of the day, I can give a damn what team just win in the playoffs. End of the day, what I want to see is this team kind of gain some steam heading into the playoffs, so they can have that said identity that we're looking for, right? That Jekyll and Hyde identity is what you're talking about.
Correct. We need it. So the next 3 games, we just got to go win, man. We just got to go win.
Yeah, they got to gain some type of momentum of the Jekyll and Hydeness, the consistency you're talking about within the identity. I can't agree. I can't disagree with. But in the playoffs, I don't give a dang how it gets done. Win. I don't care how it looks. Win.
That's it, man. Hey, man, but I appreciate you for having me, man. I love your invites. Y'all really changed. Kind of changed the way that I listen to the Cowboys, man. Y'all about the only ones that I really listen to like this, so I definitely appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you, big dog. Damn, these lines got packed. Okay, wasn't expecting that. All right, hey, we locking these things down. Well, what the hell changed that y'all ran up through here? All right, look, let's listen to DQ, and we'll get back to the horns. Dan Quinn, in the first word, talked about, how to deal with this injury situation in regards to LVE, how it affects Micah, and if it's wearing Micah down, playing defense in.
As you look to replace him, does it impact Micah at all on what you've done with him in the last 5 weeks?
Yes, it will. And, how do we, utilize Micah some at backer and some at defensive line moving forward. But, yeah, you're on the right track with that, to say all hands on deck to make sure we can put everybody in the right spot to do their thing.
Clarence for Worcester Telegram. What you're saying from Micah is take the playing defensive end, is that taking a toll on him?
Can you repeat how you phrase it? Yep.
Do you see the toll of the defensive end position taking?
I don't know if it's any more than defensive end than just the toll. You could ask me about, J-Ron and battling through injuries and where it goes. It's probably, for all the players at this point, a function of, hey, we're still, on the back half of the regular season to go. But there is more chips and things that could come up. But at the same time, he's really playing relentlessly. So I would say I haven't seen any sign of him, not with his speed or with his instincts to use them. So all of that has been really good.
How will they deploy Micah Parsons against that Philly offense? That'll be the question. I would love, he's not going to answer that, right? But, sometimes when you're walking around there, you run into a coach to walk off, you can get a little something. I'm hoping that somebody down there, Haley, to Aisha, Pat Walker, one of our folks, right? They can, hey, man, what you thinking about Micah Parsons this week? He don't play linebacker, gonna play defense. Because he played more linebacker in that game, and obviously that was one of the games there was struggles, right? They did a lot of misdirection and whatnot, and that's a tough offense to deal with in regards to misdirection. But without Jalen Hurts, does that change? Or are they more adamant at putting him at linebacker? I'm not brushed up on all things Eagles and their scheme and whatnot, and Nick Sirianni, offensive coordinator, but it feels like they do play fine mouse and house. And I don't mean that with Micah Parsons. I mean that, okay, if you put Mike at linebacker, then we'll just attack in the pass game at Micah, or we'll go at, whoever your quarterback 2 is with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown or whoever is on him, right? We'll just do that. And if that's the case, you're taking off your best pass rusher to get after the quarterback. Or if they put him at defensive end, now we'll just send 330-pound tackles and guards at him and just take his legs out and run away from him. Because he's only one person. So I think in this game, man, I think DQ is going to have to play some really good chess against this Eagles scheme, because they got caught last time. They got caught. They couldn't make the stops. They couldn't stop the run in that last possession, and it hurt them. But throughout that game, prior to that last possession for Philly, it looked like Jalen Hurts didn't want to throw the ball. And it happened to be Micah Parsons at defensive end. Now, I know right tackle Lane Johnson has been fantastic, and, maybe that's a guy you don't just rush Micah Parsons over all the damn time, so go to the other side. But Jordan Mailata's pretty good too, but he can get beat. Got a good offensive line. But Jalen Hurts was getting hit. So, Cowboys Nation, would you deploy Micah Parsons at linebacker this week or defensive end? Sounds like Dan Quinn is leaning towards linebacker with LVE out. What y'all thinking? What y'all thinking? Linebacker, defensive end. This scheme is so tricky, man. T-Dub, both of them. That's kind of where we're probably at, right? More linebacker, DE. It's a tough one. Without Jalen, though, wouldn't be upset if he still did more rush stuff. But I guess that makes you, hey, well, do you have confidence in your linebackers without LVE? Well, Anthony Barr doesn't give me much confidence. I like Damone Clark's ability. He's young. He's still figuring things out. But you might have to deploy Micah at linebacker because you just don't got enough depth there. DE. Linebacker, bring him down on third and long. That's kind of been my whole thing for Micah in general prior to how they deploy him this year was bring Micah Parsons down when you need to rush the passer. All right, we'll try to get through these here. We got a whole lot on the phone. I don't know all these numbers though, but 970.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, okay, I do know this number. This is Sonny.
Yeah. You said I sounded like your mechanic last time I talked to you.
Well, the chat definitely get on you about the mechanic, but you definitely sound like my mechanic from back home. You sure do. But what's up, Sonny?
Hey, what's Dak's record against Philadelphia since he's been a quarterback?
7-3. So pretty damn good record.
Oh, so he's 7-3.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Now there is a good chance that we could meet them in the playoffs. If we beat Tampa and San Francisco wins their game and Minnesota wins theirs.
Yeah.
Since we'd be the lower seed, we would end up going. We'd be the first opponent for Philadelphia, right?
There is a scenario where that is the case. Yep, you go to Philly at the link in the divisional round. Correct.
Yeah, we could be the ones to take them out. Wouldn't that be something?
Oh my goodness. I would love
I mean, that'd be more so. I'd be the one that would really.
We did that.
Did you get a chance to watch that round table last night thing with all them guys on it?
No, sir.
Or did you hear about it?
No, sir.
With Law and some of the Philly fans and Philly guys.
I saw my bro Jay Tuck tweet out a funny promo about it, but I did not get a chance to watch it, no.
Oh, yeah, it was like chaos. I mean, they made some good sense in there. But like everybody said, we really don't know now. I'm going to give him his dues this year, Hurts. He's playing really good. I mean, he is. He's probably, the better quarterback right now. But what's he going to be like in 2 or 3 years down the road?
Sure, but Jalen Hurts might not play on Saturday, Sonny.
Well, yeah, see, that's the thing. We're all talking about that. See, that's going to change. Now, what's that going to be like if the other quarterback's playing? That could be, like you're saying, where do you want Parsons to play at, right?
And that's the question we pose, right? Where do you want Micah Parsons to play in this rematch? A linebacker or defensive end? Dan Quinn sounds like they're going to be using him at linebacker because of LVE, but obviously you can't exclusively put him there. He's got to go after the passer.
Well, everybody was bitching about how LVE sucked, but now that he's gone, they wish they had him.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'll be the first in line to say I was definitely.
Anybody could beat John Hibbing today. In Jacksonville, they played us pretty good. They were pretty good that day.
Yeah, they were.
They just outplayed us. That's all it was, dude. I mean, it was, sometimes you're going to drop a ball here and there. I mean, no one's perfect in football.
Indeed.
I've watched a lot of good teams, lose games, but we need to be better. We need to be more consistent. I really believe it ain't our team. We got the talent. It's our ownership.
Well,
that's what's holding us back.
That's a whole nother discussion there, Sonny. Yes, sir. Over the last 27 years.
Honestly, when it gets down to the brass thing, I mean, because we got talent, but it is the coach. I mean, we got coach, but we need to get rid of Kellen Moore.
Yeah. Well, Sonny, that's a whole nother conversation. We want to stick to these Eagles, man. But I appreciate you calling in.
Oh, yeah.
And it's good to hear from you.
We're going to beat Philly.
Okay.
I hope we can beat them like we did Minnesota.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. They ain't taking that a victory away from me.
Happening or no? Do you think Philly's a little too good for that to happen?
They're better than Minnesota. I don't see that happening, but I'd love to see it.
Yeah. What do you honestly think is going to happen?
I think this is going to be a dogfight. I do. I think it's going to be a dogfight. I can't give you my prediction. You got to tune in on Sunday.
Wins that game, they win the division, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, wow, we can't let that happen.
Appreciate you calling in, Sonny. Good to hear from you, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, thank you for taking my call.
No
you
problem.
And your family have a beautiful holiday.
You as well.
Wonderful Christmas.
Have a great holiday,
Thank
Sonny.
you.
Good to hear from you. Good stuff.
You too.
Good stuff.
Let's go, Cowboys.
Let's go, man. See, Sonny calling every about couple weeks, so he's like, I got to get everything off my day of chess. I feel you, Sonny. 904, what's up?
Hey, Will. What's going on, buddy?
What it is, what it do, man. How you doing?
Oh, fine, man. I'm still trying to regain my voice back, man. I was out there at the Jayville game.
Oh, so it sounded like you was loud and proud. That's exactly how I like it.
Yes, it was, man. I was up there on fire, kicking around and everything. And then it got in that second half. It was kind of crazy.
You know how we do. We never make it easy. We don't want peace. We want problems always. What's up, though?
Yeah, man. But what I was talking about on that Philadelphia game, man, I think what they should do, I think they need to go ahead and insert Sam Williams in there, man. Because he can make a lot of difference in there, too. And you got to forget, we got Fowler and, D-Law. All these guys can go rush the passer, man.
I want to say Sam has been getting more tick, though, lately. Let me see the exact numbers again. Because his numbers is up there, man. He's starting to get up into the mid-20s and higher, yeah. He had 24 snaps last week.
Yeah, because, he's up and coming. So why don't you put him out there and let him go get it?
Yeah, 18 pass rush opportunities last week. That's a season high. So, yeah, man, maybe give him a little bit more.
Yeah, and because he will be a difference maker, and just use Parsons as a quarterback spy or however you want to do it. so he'll be chasing the quarterback all day. But as far as that corner position, man,
Ooh, you know what?
I'm thinking.
Hold tight, because I'm in Philly. He only played 11 snaps. So we know Sam is not going to play. Now, Hurts ain't playing this week, but still, I'm just have a conversation here. You just sparked something. He only played 11 snaps in a Philly game and only had 5 pass rush opportunities. It's pretty clear that I think he's going to get a lot more than that. Sam could be a wild card in this game with that RPO stuff because he has kind of that closing speed.
He knows exactly what's going on. Because like when he was in the game against the Bears, he actually pointed out the other linebacker to go attack the quarterback, and he was going to take care of the man coming out of the slot, whatever you're going in motion. And then he ended up getting him for like a loss of a play. So I was like, man, Damone Clark knows exactly.
I think you're talking about Damone Clark. I think I might say Sam didn't play in that game.
It was Clark. Yeah.
So Damone Clark's that's a different discussion, right? Damone's going to play. That's obvious. Damone's been playing. Damone just has to get more experience because he can be tricked as well, right? He can be misdirected. All linebackers are, but even young linebackers is tougher. But he has the athleticism to kind of correct himself. But just imagine if he doesn't get tricked and he's there. So yeah, Damone just got to play more.
Yeah, he does. He needs the reps, and I'm really proud of what he's doing because coming from a serious neck injury, because of course I had one, because I'm a disabled veteran myself.
Oh,
and I
appreciate the services, sir.
2 pounds. Thank you, sir. And what it was, I had these 2 rods inserted in my neck, and it's hard for me to stabilize myself. But it's really rough, man. But I can understand what these players going through with that, especially with the neck surgery, because that is a serious injury.
Yeah.
Because I don't play the game, so I already know about that. And man, I just kudos to them coming back strong like they are.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? So yeah, cause that can either make you or break you.
It can, man. Hey, appreciate the call. Appreciate your service. Keep rocking with us.
Oh, I will, man. I keep watching y'all every day, bro.
Thank you, man.
Tell you, that Bosch, boy, y'all off the chain, man.
Yesterday was hilarious, but yeah.
I know it. I missed it yesterday. I was at my VA appointment, man. But hey, I'm still tuned in, man. You take care, man. Y'all God bless you, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, brother. Hey, if y'all missed, oh my bad, we don't want the first word. If y'all missed the show yesterday, boy, we didn't get that call though, so we ain't fired. Another good one. Can't miss shows. All right, we still got a handful of callers, so let's kind of get through these here. 813, what's up?
What's good? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Got you loud and clear.
What's going on, man? This is Joe Casho. What's going on, Sky?
Oh, this is Joe. See, I don't see the 215.
I'll bother you one of these days.
No, this is actually a perfect week for you to call and bother me because we play the Eagles, and I wish we could maybe we could set something up later in the week, man, to talk real, get a nice little back and forth on what's going on with y'all over there. But what's up, Joe? If y'all don't know who Joe is, Philly fan, Philly the podcast, fantastic content creator for the Eagles. What's good, brother?
I appreciate it, man. Now, yeah, I'm feeling good. I heard somebody talking about the show he did last night, craziness. But no. Look, I'm excited about this game. I think that, even if Jalen Hurts doesn't go out there, which it's looking like 90% he won't, I think that the Eagles have a good team. And I think that we, as a team, there's a lot of conversation about whether or not Jalen Hurts is a product of the system or is the system a product of him. I think this won't necessarily, tell that story. I wouldn't sit here and say if Gardner Minshew goes out there and has a good game, it's because Jalen's part of a system. But I think that it gives the Eagles that little extra oomph because, honestly, we might play you again. And this will be the second different type of team that will be playing, right? Because the first week you guys didn't have your quarterback. This week looking like we won't have ours. So the third game probably is going to be like a brand new game. We're going to probably see new schemes, new things. So I think it helps both teams because, like I said, we're both going to get there. We're going to get to the dance. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say I think the Eagles are going to go out there and win.
Well, I don't expect you to say anything different, but so you do think that there may be a little bit, I don't want to use the word gamesmanship, but I hate to say holding back or keeping plays, but you think they won't show all of their cards because of a potential third-time rematch in the playoffs?
Yeah, I'll even go further from the Eagles side, and I'm not speaking for everybody when I say this, but me personally, even before the Jalen Hurts injury, I was on the train of, listen, go out there, play a good half, and get the heck out of there. I don't want to see any of my guys get hurt. So with Gardner Minshew in there, I don't think we're going to be playing a full playbook. I think that we're going to be keeping it kind of close to the cuff. We're going to run a lot. What you saw against the Bears, I think, kind of scared us straight because that's not who we are. You know, we're not a team that tries to throw 20-yard bombs every play. So I do think that it's going to be very, very close to the cuff. I'm not expecting to see any of these crazy end arounds that we've been trying the last couple of weeks.
Hey, it's been working on us.
So I think they'll hold back. Yeah, no, right. But I do think they'll hold back. And I think you guys should too.
No. Here's why we can't. Here's why we can't. The Cowboys need to get in the rhythm, number one. Number two, I know this, for an Eagles fan, this is interesting because I haven't had this conversation with y'all just yet, but like, as far-fetched as it sounds, if you do lose this game, right, and you don't have Jalen Hurts for the Saints game, what if you lose that game? Like, the division is not up for, it's not over, right? So don't you think y'all got to come out here and try to win this game by hook or crook, and as opposed to holding back? Because I don't think the Cowboys should hold back because they got to win this game. They got to. With the division up for grabs still, technically.
I might sound a little bit too confident, but I think that even if it's not you guys, I would say that, even if it's not Gardner Minshew beating you guys, I have confidence that Gardner can beat the Saints, beat the Giants. Yeah, I think that he can beat one of the three. So, yes and no. Like, I'm not saying they're going to go out there and just run the ball every single play, but I think that there's no real need for us to go all out. Maybe I get what you're saying on your end.
Yeah.
But I just don't see why there's a reason. I don't think that we're in a situation. I understand that, momentum is a real thing, but I don't think we're in a situation where every game's been by like 3 points. We've had to come back and if anything goes wrong, things just kind of slide off. If anything, I think we're at the point right now that we have a good group of veterans and that are injured right now that could honestly use the rest. So it might be the perfect time for us to kind of, and again, I don't want to say hold back and not try at all, but it might make sense for us to kind of, listen, we're going to go out there for a half and really try and kill them and hopefully get a lead, and then we're going to just go back home. I mean, it sounds scary. It sounds like,
yeah, because this ain't Cooper Rush no more, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like this at the end of the day, we can poo-poo and laugh and he Philly fans at Dak all you want, but y'all know damn well that, if Dak goes down by a touchdown or something, 10 points, 17 points, he can throw us back in the game. So,
definitely. Yeah, but my thing is, I think that, and to your point, I think that this means, and I'm not trying to, come on here and talk. I think this means more to Dallas fans than it does to us.
That's fair.
I think that the Eagles have their sights set on something bigger.
I mean, from I know what I get where you're coming at here. Me personally, it's all about playoffs for me. But one more question before I let you go, because somebody asked this earlier, and now I got an Eagle fan, an Eagle content creator. This is a great question to ask you. What would you look at as the weakness of the team that teams can exploit?
For the Eagles?
Yeah, like everybody has an Achilles heel. It can be small, and that's why I call it Achilles heel. It can be large, but what would you say is the thing that can derail your season, or now I don't want to say injuries, but because that can derail season, but like from a game standpoint, like remember it was run defense at one point. I don't know how great you guys have been since then, but what would be kind of your Achilles heel for the team?
I would say our weakness is still probably the run game. We're still not. I think we're around 18th right now as far as the run game goes, which isn't obvious. It's the worst of what we do.
Okay.
But if you're telling me, what can make you lose a game, what do people not necessarily see? I think it's still Jalen Hurts, if we're being honest. I think that if you can confuse him, if you can make him want to throw the ball deeper than he really should be, thinking that there's stuff there, you can get him. We saw that in the Bears game. He's still not perfect. So I'll say if you can just confuse Jalen Hurts enough, you can still make him look like a young quarterback, because that's what he is. So I think that's probably one thing people don't want to admit. And then on the surface, I think it is still our run game.
All All right, man. Appreciate you calling in, Joe. Man, maybe I might have to reach out to you and see if we can get kind of a even more thorough breakdown over the next couple days, man.
Yes, sir, man. Shout out to you, man. I love your show, even though I'm a Eagles fan. You helped me get through work, so I appreciate it, man. Nothing but love.
Appreciate you, dog. That's Joe Castro, Philly the podcast on YouTube, right?
Yes,
It's
sir.
called
Yes,
Philly
sir.
the podcast on YouTube, and I don't know what's your Twitter handle. Let them know where you can find you on Twitter.
At Philly TP. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Y'all go over there and troll his Twitter. Good stuff from Joe. So run defense, he still feels it, but I'm glad he brought that up about Jalen, because I watched that Bears game. Bears defense is not that great. Now they have an interesting secondary though. Talent is back there, and he struggled. And again, I know when Dallas is going to look like, oh, offense just killed the Cowboys. Not really, man. They averaged less than 4 yards per carry, and Jalen again didn't look like he wanted to throw the ball. They didn't throw the ball downfield. It was more so tight ends. It was get the ball to A.J. Brown, let him work opposite, and it was more so him scrambling around. But he's probably not going to play. Somebody asked me, well, Scott, you sure he won't play? I don't think so. I just don't think they want to jeopardize. His shoulder is sprained, man. Again, you want to jeopardize him against a team that's hungry and needs to win and not give him at least a week of rest. Be my guest. Yeah, we can poo-poo the defense all we want. At the end of the day, it's still talent over there, and they're eager to bounce back. So, all right, go ahead, throw him out there if you want. 786-318, and then we'll close it out with Nick. What's up, 786?
What's up, Will? Appreciate the show. Appreciate everything you're doing
Thanks,
for Cowboys Nation. I just want to answer some of your questions. I think, yes, we are more of a defensive. We are more of an offensive reliant team.
Okay.
I think our linebacker extraordinaire number 11, you cannot reveal your hand. You gotta. I think the secret is really keeping teams guessing. I would imagine he's going to play a great deal at linebacker, but game planning is going to be key. And if you look at how teams have attacked the Cowboys defense, it's all about schemes and different things that they're doing that the Cowboys haven't seen. So you have to keep that element. But I'm going to say this right here. Yeah, I think last week's loss was extremely disappointing. But, I don't know if this has been – I got some time off for the holidays. I haven't been listening every single day. I don't know if you guys hit on this, but listen, psychologically, when you have a little bit of success, there's something that happens. You look at those games. Green Bay last week against Jacksonville, the Texans. The Cowboys were up in all of those games substantially.
Yeah.
There's something inside. They kind of let up a little bit. They don't want to say it. I think they know they need to play well. They need to play hard. But bottom line, you look at the tape, Jacksonville was hungrier than us.
Yeah.
Bottom line, we could took our foot off the gas. And with the ebb and flow of the season, that's going to happen. So I expect the Cowboys to come out here on Christmas Eve and get a dub. I really do. It's going to be interesting to see, as you said, how they game plan. I want to add, too, that we had a couple of teams coach some players that we were trying to let slide onto the practice squad, like the kid, the Vanilla Gorilla. I don't know what we were thinking. We cut him.
Yeah.
Even he would have really helped with the run game.
I mean, but he was depth. The issue I had was they got rid of him because they didn't want to put Dak on IR, and then they still ended up resting Dak for those 5 weeks. But even then, like you mean to tell me you want to get rid of your 5th round pick and you kept another guy named Josh Ball on the roster? That's what killed me the most. Like, I get it. He's not Vita Vea, right? I'm not saying that about him. And honestly, I'm not saying you're tripping, but it's how they did it and why they did it.
Exactly. I think they could have managed that a little bit better.
Right.
Listen, I mean, you're at the point of the season where it's gut check time. I expect them to. If you look at the Cowboys, how they've responded after losses. After the loss to Tampa Bay, they came out and balled. After the loss to the Philly, they came out and balled after the loss to Green Bay. They came back and just killed the Vikings. I expect them.
Yeah, they don't have multiple losses back to back. I expect them to respond as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's unfortunate. I think that was a terrible loss. We should have won that game.
In closing, brother.
Yeah. So, but I still think this Cowboys. I don't think Philly wants to face the Cowboys in the playoffs. I don't think San Francisco wants to face the Cowboys in the playoffs. Cowboys, regardless of the warts, they're still a juggernaut. So, Cowboy fans, let's keep up. Let's not be all down in the dumps. We still got a good team. We still got a good shot. Shout out to you. Shout out to Cowboy Nation. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, man. Love the confidence, but boy, if I'm a San Fran fan, if I'm San Fran player, I'm scared of y'all. I went to your house, into your trap with Jimmy G. I think this defense is better. I don't want to get into that, but hey, I love the confidence, man. But I'm just saying, if it was on the other side, I'd be like, shit. I do want to see Dallas in the playoffs. They can't stop the run. Misdirection. Got a great defense. Yeah. But I hear you, bro. Hold tight, Nick. I want to end with you, man. 1 second. Hold tight. 318. What's up?
What up, Sky?
What's goody? What's goody?
Chilling. I think we need to play Parsons at linebacker this week, especially if Jalen playing, and because I feel like he's just too good to just have him rushing all the time, like just telling him to go get the quarterback. Like I feel like he'd improved us, that he could take the running backs up the seam. He can cover the tight ends. He almost got a pick on Goddard when last time we played the Eagles.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like I think that's what. And I feel like that him being at the edge is kind of taking a toll on him, because if you know he's rushing all day, it's easy for us to account for him. It's easy for us to double team him.
Right.
Chip, when he playing off the ball, you can't double team him off the ball. You know what I'm saying? I love seeing him rush up.
He admitted it, brother.
The middle.
He admitted that playing defense end is obviously going to wear on you naturally when you're not. I called it yesterday, when you don't build the armor to do so, and that's not. He didn't get drafted to play strictly defensive end, and I know for a fact he wants to play some linebacker, so he'll get his chance, I think, this week.
Right, and that's what I was just about to say. I don't think he really is just as happy as playing defensive end like that. Like, I know he love getting his sacks, but I feel like he really want to do other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes they can take a toll on the player if they ain't happy. You know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like, I'm looking at Dan Quinn this game too, because especially if Jalen Hurts play, I know they're going to do some heavy RPOs, and that's been giving him headaches, you know what I'm saying, Dan Quinn. So, and I know he good. I know he that dude, but, you can't just keep, you can't keep letting the same thing beat you, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm looking at him tight on that. Yeah. I want to see how he's going to defend it, and hopefully – and I agree with old dude, too, about Sam Williams. Sam Williams, he know how to set that edge. I think he got a good knack feel for the RPOs too as well. So I love to see Micah Parsons at the linebacker and Sam Williams starting on the opposite side of D-Law.
Ooh, start.
Yeah, I love to see Trey Diggs chilling Brown all day too.
Yeah, that's gonna be that. We ain't even break that one down, but let me do it real quick. But hey, dog, good call. Appreciate the content.
Already, bro.
Yeah, we talked about the back end. We've been talking about the rush. We've been talking about Micah, the linebackers, but I think the game can potentially come down to, can the secondary deal with Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goedert. Miles Sanders is 1,000-yard back. First time he had a 1,000-yard back since 2014 with Shady, which, boy, I'm so disappointed in him. Clown. But I think last week he only had 11 carries. I still feel like, and Joe, maybe you can attest to this, I still feel like, man, they got a little, they can get a little Kellen Moore-ish where they go away from the run game. They can do that from time to time and decide to run their quarterback more. When I say run game, maybe I should say running back. They go away from Miles Sanders and they'll just run their quarterback more or throw the rock. And going into this game, It'll be interesting because the Cowboys, I think, do have a talented secondary outside of cornerback 2, depending who you decide to put at cornerback 2, right? So to decide to put Deron Bland out there, that means he's going to match up against a Devontae Smith or an A.J. Brown from time to time. Or do you say, like the caller said, do you just start coverage, A.J. Brown versus Trayvon Diggs? I'm not saying these two players are equal just yet. Maybe some will say they are, but I do think that I don't know that it matters because there's going to be an advantage opposite of the other side. Like Devontae Smith he's a good receiver, bro. So whoever is over there, he likely has that advantage. So maybe you just keep things simple and you keep Trey wherever he's at. Or maybe you say, okay, critical downs, I'll put Trey on A.J. Brown. But they find ways. They did it last game. They had who was it? A.J. Brown doing the kind of zigzag motion coming from behind the line of scrimmage, making Trey go through traffic, creating conflict, and boom, easy outlet. Things like that I was stealing from the playbook. But that's just me. It's just me. So it's going to be a challenge. But at the end of the day, like J-Ron said, I don't really care who the quarterback is. I don't care who the running back is. I don't care who the receiver is. We got to go out there and be about action. And Cowboys need to bounce back defensively, man. They need to start building towards the playoffs of being one of them defenses because I think the Cowboys to get where they need to be, it's going to have to be because we got one of those type of defenses to help you in the playoffs. Fair or unfair? All right. Good stuff today. He inherited Jason's playbook. Feel like it. With his little bit of wrinkles. Let me get to any supers I may have missed. I don't quite remember seeing too many flash over there, but let me see. Oh, we're good. Perfect. All right, we're straight. I'll get back to the chat here. T-Dub, why is our zone so soft? Good question. If you look at the end of that game, although that throw that Trevor Lawrence made went right through Dono's hands. It's kind of hard to argue with that one, but zones are inherently soft, right? Like that is what it is. They just are soft. You got to get home. Call a clean game. Kellen's going to call a clean game, James. Indeed. The NP Diggs on Brown, Bland on Smith. I wish somebody would ask him that question. Like, no, because they brought it up. They did ask him the question, to be fair. But the question I want to ask is there any thought of putting Deron Bland on the outside? I feel like that's where the big plays have been made. And I know that's where the big plays have been made. Not even trying Diggs deep. However, I think they're going to try Diggs on a double move. I just feel like they will. It's something about ball defensive coordinators that do well. That's hilarious. Nick says Shanahan is what I'm scared of. Yeah, Shanahan he can dial it up, man. I was listening to Bobby, and no matter who their quarterback has been this year, which they've had 3, they're still a top 10 team offensively, and obviously they're one of the best, if not the best, defenses in the league. Like, I just don't know how you don't look at Brown and say, you one of them ones, man. T.Y. breakout game? What breakout game? This is his first game. We're going to break T.Y. out. That's to be. That's what we're going to do. But I don't know if it's going to be his breakout game just yet. What does Stephen Jones want for Christmas? Cap. He wants salary cap for Christmas. Nothing will make him happier. I would troll him if I was like I would literally Secret Santa Stephen Jones with a gift, a box, and make him open up like 17 different boxes. And then at the end of the box, it's a tiny little baseball cap, and then lifts up to the baseball cap, and it says salary cap. I would troll him so hard. Might get fired, but it'd be worth it. Set up a private camera. Oh man, y'all love me if I did that. If I worked for the Dallas Cowboys for a week and I came back and said, "Well, are you back here, Sky?" Well, I'm about to show you. Here you go. Brian says, do I realize the Eagles have not played a good team or high-level quarterback on the road? I guess. I guess. I mean, I don't really care about the good team, bad team thing. The bottom line is win. right? They're 13-1. And I don't think this is a situation where we're looking at the Steelers, where they were 11-0 and derailed. Like, this is a legitimate team. Like, if you want to be put on blinders, sure. But it's a legitimate team. That's why I want to beat them, because then you can gain that momentum of beating a legitimate team. Also sent him hundreds of actual caps. Facts. All right, man. What's going on with what's going on with Jamison Taylor? Is Jamison Taylor the one that said something about being in the hospital, man? I hope everything's good with you, Jamison. I see people in there saying prayers up and you matter and things like that, man. I hope everything is well, man. Hang in there, man. Is this LVE's last year in Dallas? I would have said emphatically yes, maybe 3-4 weeks ago. I'm still say yes. I'm gonna still say yes. But man, maybe he'll be one of those. Hey, I'll take a cheap deal for the Cowboys type thing. Oh man, you got a kidney issue. Damn, brother. Well, then, yeah, definitely prayers up for Jamison, man. With that said, Cowboys Nation, we're going to roll up out of here. Got to head to A to Z meeting. We got some cool things planned next week for the Titans game. Our parent company is in Nashville, so we're going to be teaming up for that game for the pregame show. I don't know about halftime and post, but it's definitely the pregame show. So make sure on your way out, do me a favor, man. Hit that like button. If you just jumped up in here, all 400 and something of y'all, and you enjoy how we do things here from a Cowboys perspective, subscribe and be a part of the Bomb Squad. We do good stuff here. Good stuff. Later on, I'll be on the volume with my guy, Voch Lombardi. I believe the final show of the week, and then it's holiday season. Holiday season. Getting a little break. Kind of. Not really. I ain't getting no break, but on that side, we will. And then later, Mauricio Rodriguez. A to Z Sports Primetime. Be there or be square. Let me hit this dang on button. Make sure y'all keep up with me on Twitter. Scrolling down there on the DFW Turf ticker. At Skywalker Steel. If you saw my post last night, I definitely was annoyed. It is what it is. These talking heads are clowns, man. Clowns. Love y'all, though. We out here. Peace. I will be live Friday, just not next Friday or live on Monday. I'll tell you tomorrow.
Squad!